What's up, guys? How's it going? We're gonna go over how to draw the Jack Skellington skull, which is basically Jack Skellington's face. And I'm gonna teach you a few different ways to draw it. This isn't gonna be like a shaded version. I'm gonna teach you how to draw. It's more of a three-dimensional character anyway. I mean, not really. I guess he was a literally a model in the cartoon or the animated movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas. So a couple of things about this, and I'm going to give you a few tips to kind of memorize to make it helpful for you. I want to show you how to do this, but I also want to really, I want to, what do you call that? Teach you how to fish, so you understand. A couple of things about him. His head is basically a circle. It kind of reminds me of like a tennis ball or something like that on a stick. But I have seen variations on it that I did like. I've seen some people. And sometimes in some angles they'll have a kind of a shape like this instead. It's more of a coney shape up here. I don't know if you can see that. More of a coney shape up there. And I've seen people pull that off pretty well and have like a little bit of a rounder edge on the bottom here. He's such a simple design, you know what I mean? So because of that, it's gonna be hard to. It's very easy to go off model. You know what I'm saying? The eyes themselves. Let's go back here. You can even put a center line too for your own help if you want to keep track. Very thin center line to keep things aligned. His head, I mean the eyes, the eye sockets. Another thing I recommend is not always making them exactly the same size. It is like that, but to give him more character, I would make one bigger than the other. So let's try that out right now. Let's see. Let's give him kind of an angry face, or let's see. And he's got a lot of cool expressions in Nightmare Before Christmas. This is Halloween look. And there's always this overlapping line I noticed into his face. But the space between his eyes, there's a little bit less than, like, I would say a full circle. It's a little bit, it's less than that though, because some people have said that he's got a full-blown space in between, like a full-blown eye space between. I don't think he does. He's got his nostril, his nasal cavity basically. Sometimes I've seen them drawn way up, but that's fine. They can basically be commas or apostrophe notes. Apostrophe, it gives them more shape instead of just having. I mean, you can do that just the circle, but I do like having that kind of shape to it. Better. It replicates the skull kind of nasal cavity more. It gives it. Let's see. His mouth. Pretty far across. It can go all the way up if you want it to. Right there. So that could be one. His neck, like I said, basically a post. Almost looks like a T, standing on a T-ball. And throws some furrowing of the brow up there. Another thing is definitely fill this in, so I'm using a pencil right now. A graphite 9B. 9B is pretty dark. But like I said, I'm not really going to shade, so it's not too big a deal what I use. So that'd be one example. His mouth is even a little bit high, I think. You could lower it if you want. Let's go to, we'll do that guy later, but let's try that again. Let's try one over here. Try to get that circle down. One thing when you're drawing the circle, it's kind of hard to get control of that. So if you want, try to go over that line, you could turn the paper. Literally just turn the whole paper, because you're allowed, you're allowed to do that. Turn the paper and make that line, let's say, thicker, if you need it thicker. See if you need that. And you can let's start with the mouth this time, because I want the mouth much lower than in that version. His head's always moving around and tilting, so he's had a few different looks I've seen with him. One of them was this. He's got kind of a point down here. It's almost like this content. Reminds me of the kind of Grinch smile a little bit. I'm going to mark out where I want the eyes. One side. These I'm going to drop pretty close to the same size. And then I'm going to do the apostrophe, apostrophes for the nasal cavity there. A little bit more of a smile going on. Same thing goes for his neck again on a golf tee. If you want to draw his collar, he has this kind of, looks like an arrow, but it's really supposed to be a cat. I just kind of think of it as an arrow. And then he's got the woo, that kind of this collar coming out. And it's basically 3 prongs, kind of wavy. But anyways, let's go back into his head, fill in the eye sockets here. If you have any questions, please post them below. I'm really curious about questions for this character. He's a pretty simple model, but I mean, like I said before in the earlier, it's because it's so simple that it's very simple to mess up too. You know what I mean? Just certain things are proportionally wrong. If you've ever seen bootlegs material, like I live near the Mexican border, there's bootleg cartoons and bootleg stuff like that. They'll always mess up the model, and it's hilarious. So that's always. Let me say I want to darken the line around here, around the edge of this guy, actually. I just think it would look better with darkened. And let's go back down to the bottom here to see if we can get this guy to look all right. See, I'm going to start with the mouth this time. Get straight across. See if we can get it to look like him, actually. See. Let's try a totally whacked pose. I'm going to try to stay in the same universe, even though I'm moving his eyes way closer to the bottom, which might be a huge mistake. Pull his nose up here, see if we can get that to fit in. And this one's more of an experiment. I want to see if how crazy you can change up the model. And I guess with him, you can't change it that much. See how it looks a little different? He looks a little too wide with the certain things. Let me try to shade this and see if I can get it to look similar. But keep playing around with this. Create your own expressions too. I would actually obviously watch the movie The Night Before Christmas. Look up stuff like that and actually try to create your own expressions out of a character that you like already, which would be Jack Skellington or whatever it may be. Try to create your own versions of those characters. It's always a good exercise to do, to test yourself. Alright, let me see. Yeah, that head shape. Thought I had seen that head shape, maybe not. Alrighty. I like these two. This one's kind of like just was a quick test. Didn't really work out, I don't think. But alright, guys. I'll see you next time. If you have any questions, please let me know. Yeah, subscribe to this channel if you like this, and share it. I'm trying to grow the channel right now, so please share this on your Facebook or anything that any social media. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.